floor press is primarily used as a movement that will be stronger than your normal dumbbell press and on purposely reducing the range of motion through the use of the floor. But the principles behind what you're trying to do and the positions you're trying to get into are very similar to a normal dumbbell press. So it's usually started at the bottom, and there's the easiest way that I have personally found to get into the right position here is either you get one dumbbell up and then somebody passes you the other one if you have a partner or you have a friend. The other way is once you've got them onto your thighs, if you round your back and roll to the ground, it kind of naturally allows you just to flare your elbows out and get the dumbbells in the right position. Doing it this way will become more difficult as the weight increases, so just bear that in mind. It may be more beneficial to have a friend if you're lifting particularly heavy weights. But once you've started, I personally count my reps from the bottom here. So if I go up and then down, that will be 1 rep. Rather than on bench press, for example, you usually count your rep from the start. So that would be down and up being 1 rep. But beyond that, many things are the same as your normal dumbbell press. So we're trying to use our legs to stabilize ourselves left to right. We have a little bit more surface area in contact with our stability point, which is the ground. When you're on a bench, for example, there's usually like a little bit of you hanging off either side. You can get your whole set of shoulders on the ground. You can get your entire hip structure on the ground. You can get both feet on the ground. There's just more points of contact to be able to stabilize you. And obviously your elbows and arms are on the ground when you're at the bottom. So you still want to push a little bit with your legs. So if you imagine you're trying to push this direction so that if the floor was slippery, you would slide in this direction. You're trying to squeeze your glutes. You're trying to pull your rib cage up towards the ceiling so that your shoulders can come back and squeeze together, and they can also go down towards your hips. So you've got shoulder blade retraction coming behind you, and you've got shoulder blade depression, shoulders going down towards the hips. That's why our rib cage comes up a little bit to allow that to be a little bit easier. And then with that, we're trying to load the weight so our knuckles are basically above the elbows the entire time. So as you initiate that downwards movement, the elbows go out, the knuckles follow until you get towards the floor. And when you're on the floor, the knuckles are still above the elbow. As you start to press back up, the knuckles stay above the elbow and the dumbbells will come back in together. Be aware with this, if you lower down very quickly and you lower your elbow directly into the ground with weight, that can be quite painful. So lower down carefully and controlled. You'll see here actually, it's not my elbow that touches the ground. I usually use my tricep as the gauge as to how low I'm going. So I'm not relaxing when I get to the bottom. I'm keeping tension throughout the movement. So I'm going down until my tricep touches the ground rather than relaxing entirely until my elbow touches the ground.